person in your life that tends to suck the energy from you or tends to take up your time when you really need to be focusing on something else? Well, I do, and I think everybody else does. And today we are going to talk about how to calm that person, make sure that that person has enough of your attention and enough of your energy, but do it in a way where you can actually continue to focus on the things you need to focus on and not feel guilty when their priority does not become your priority. This is Callie L with Live Into Life, and this is the Jewel of the Week. So I know that every single person has somebody in their life, whether it's a family member, a co-worker, a friend, your child. I mean, obviously, it's slightly different with your child, right? I mean, you have to be there, you have to take care of your child because they're relying upon you for certain things. But if it's not your child, and if it's simply a co-worker or an adult in your life, there are better ways to deal with that person so that you can ensure you're giving them enough attention, you're giving them the attention that they need, but you're also able to focus on your priorities with your timeline when and where it's appropriate for you. So I'm going to give you a few tips, a couple of tips as to how to deal with this. So one of the things that I suggest is setting up a dedicated period of time per week to simply address that person. So let's say it is your mother. You love your mother, you want to spend time with your mother, but your mother tends to call you during the workday or call you when you're exhausted and it's 9 o'clock at night and they want to talk to you about their grocery list or something that happened during their day, and you really do not have the energy to speak to them, but you do it anyway because you do it because you feel guilty. You feel guilty that you're not providing them with enough attention. So one of the ways that you can get around that is by dedicating a specific time every single week to simply react and interact with that person. So let's say that every Sunday at 2 o'clock, you say, I'm going to call you on Sundays. I'm going to call you every Sunday, and we can talk for the next 2 hours if you want, and you will have my full attention. And when I am with you, I will be present with you. I'll be listening to what you want to say. I'll be listening to the stories and the things that happen to you during the week. I will be focusing on your priorities. If you need me to send you photographs or you need me to respond to an email that you sent, then that is the time when I'm going to be doing that. Now, you don't necessarily have to explain all of that to them, but what you will find is that if you do that, they will be, let's say this, sufficiently pacified until the next time you do it. Now, it may not be one time a week, maybe it's twice a week. Maybe it's every Wednesday and Sunday, and you kind of get on this schedule without them really knowing it or really understanding what's happening, but they will feel more love from you. They'll feel more attention. They'll feel that you're actually listening to their needs and their wants. And eventually that relationship with that other adult person will grow stronger. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be easy, and I'm not saying you're not going to receive resistance, and I'm not saying that it's going to happen overnight, but what I am saying is that the only person that you can control is you. You can't control anybody else around you. But if that person knows that they have a dedicated period of time with you during the week, then if they call you and it's just not a good time for you, or you're tired, or you're focusing on something else, you're not going to feel as guilty. You're not going to feel bad about ignoring that phone call or saying, look, can we talk about this on Wednesday when I'll have time and be able to dedicate that time to you. And one of the things that I also do, I make it very clear when I'm speaking to clients, when I'm speaking to any other adult person in my life, my parents, my boyfriend, my friends, I make it very clear that when I'm with you, I am with you. I am focused on whatever you are saying. But when I'm with other people, I am with them. I am having an aware conversation. I'm listening to what they're saying. I'm addressing any concerns they may have. And we're having this kind of really great communication back and forth. And so sooner or later, they will understand that when you're with other people, you're doing the same thing. And honestly, it's a sign of respect. You know, I expect people to respect my time, and I expect people to respect my priorities and my boundaries. And you know, most relationships, most communication requires some form of concrete boundary. Like, this is what I'm willing to accept, and this is what I'm not. And those conversations can be very difficult. So this tip, setting aside a specific dedicated time for that person in your life, is actually an easier and a kinder way to communicate with that person and help that relationship actually grow. The second thing I will say is that prepare for those conversations. So if you know that this person has been reaching out to you, texting you, or emailing you saying, I have this we need to talk about and this we need to talk about, then create a list. Create a list of the things that need to be addressed during that time period. I mean, it's easier to do that in a business relationship because that's usually how meetings, you know, everyone's always in a meeting nowadays, right? But that's usually like how meetings go because there is an agenda. But if you think about it, in your personal life, there's never really an agenda during those conversations. But what if there was? Because then both people will leave that conversation with a better understanding of each other, with a better understanding of the boundaries that each person is setting, and with the list of items that need to be addressed being completed. So after that conversation, you will feel lighter, you will feel more organized, you will feel like a powerhouse, like a boss bitch, right? Like, that's what you're gonna feel. So those are my two tips for the day, I guess. The jewel of the week is now 2 tips. And first is dedicated period of time during the week for that person that tends to suck that energy from you. And number 2, preparing for those conversations with an agenda. All right, I hope this helped. I hope this was a good jewel for you this week. If you haven't already, feel free to check out my podcast. It's right here. And also my Instagram right here. And get ready because my Queens in Training Money Majesty course is going to be re-released on a new platform coming very, very soon. It is my free training course, and I hope you join me for that. Until then, go live your life, live into life, and be blessed. Mwah.